Hello, this is Linda and Elio from Westeros.org, and today we're going to be discussing prophecies that may have been partially fulfilled by A Dance with Dragons, or partially by earlier books as well.
Yeah, okay, let's start with The House of the Undying.
Yeah, lots of visions and things being...
and here's one set, which is it's a set of triplets. So, 3 fires must you light, 1 for life, and 1 for death, and 1 to love. 3 mounts must you ride, 1 to bed, and 1 to dread, and 1 to love. 3 treasons will you know, 1's for blood, and 1's for gold, and 1's for love.
Yes.
Now we think that
the first set certainly seems to have been fulfilled by the end of the Game of Thrones.
Right.
The fire for life being the funeral pyre that brings the dragons to life. Yeah. The mount to bed, Drogo, and the treason for blood, Mirri Maz Duur, who betrays Dany for her people.
Right, for all the death and destruction that they visited.
And for the death and destruction she feels that the stallion who mounts the world could bring.
Right. And then the question is, has the next set been fulfilled by this point in time? Because it's just, it seems strange to save those last ones for the very end.
Yes.
So we have the
Fire for Death.
Fire for Death.
That is perhaps the most tenuous of these, but Dany has lit 2 fires. She burned down the House of the Undying, or the Drogon did, but it was with
because of her.
Yeah, because of her. And she ordered Dracarys on the slavers.
Yeah, and that fire freed freedom of slaves. The thing I find tenuous with that one is that, it kills people, but is it a fire for death?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a fire for freedom, but
yeah,
it's figurative language.
It's always hard to. Prophecies are hard.
But a great deal of death that follows it, because she orders this Unsullied to kill every male Tok'ra over the age of 12, I think. So there's a slaughter that goes on to kind of clean out Astapor. And then we have the Mountain Dread. That one I'm sure is Drogon.
Yes, she doesn't. I think somebody said, how does that fit? She doesn't dread him, no, but certainly everyone else will. And we have the idea Balerion the Black Dread being the large black dragon from the past, and Drogon is something of an incarnation, or Balerion come again, so to speak.
I think, to me, it's what she doesn't know is that the dread that she feels is being abandoned in the middle of this waste and trying and sort of...
There certainly could be multiple aspects to it.
There's a bit of a sort of, what is that, Aborigine sort of walkabout
walkabout. Yes, she does have a bit of a walkabout. She kind of
finds herself in a certain sense and realizes something. And then we have the betrayal for gold, which we believe has also been done by Brown Ben Plum.
Yes, when he decides to shift sides and leave Dany. So... that may be too easy. It could be that there's still to come, but I'm feeling fairly confident that we've had the middle set.
Yeah, because others have put forward the idea that it's Reznak, more Reznak. But what gold is he getting?
Yeah, the clearest one is certainly Brown Ben Plum, whom she thought she could trust because the dragons liked him.
Yeah, and that turned out not to be the case.
No.
Besides that prophecy,
I guess we should say also about the last ones, the fire to love and the mount to love and the betrayal for love is really much too early to say.
Yeah. Quaifi has the next one. Now she said one to Dany, which she repeats again, or is repeated again in this book. To go north you must journey south, to reach the west you must go east, to go forward you must go back, and to touch a light you must pass beneath a shadow. Now, in Dany's last chapter, seems to be that she has interpreted the forward, you must go back.
Yes, I do think so, and certainly I think, in fact, that the dragons, or Drogon anyway, is in tune with the magic, and the fact that he doesn't move until she starts doing the right thing is very telling. And she's now back very much where she was at the end of Game of Thrones. She's in a position to perhaps have a new Khalazar, and in some senses she's also physically in the same, she's had her hair burn off again, apparently an occupational hazard around dragons. And also we have the incident earlier where she has a very strong menstrual flow, or is it a miscarriage even, or something, which then could parallel her situation with miscarrying Rhaego.
Yeah.
So
She didn't so much miscarry him. The report was that he was a strange monster.
Well, it started early, and she was
I
bleeding, so there could be similarities to her sort of physical position. She's basically put herself back.
Yeah. I certainly think that's a very strong reading of that one. The rest...
The north-south could be perhaps that she needs to go to Dorne first, and then go north and deal with the others.
Yeah. And then east-west, I was wondering if Dragonstone, not the real, the one that was off to the east, but I'm not sure about that one. Yeah. There was always speculation that she would go to Ashai, and that's actually would touch light. And
that she would reach Westeros from the other side.
It seems unlikely now. George says Ashai is maybe only going to be seen in flashback or talking about it, but I mean, Melisandre's from there.
Past Beneath the Shadow, that's going into Ashai, but it seems unlikely.
Yeah.
Probably more figurative.
Another possibility you brought up to me earlier was the possibility of passing beneath the shadow of Rue. I mean, this is even mentioned, I think, when she's...
It is mentioned, and it sort of stood out, the fact that, the winged shadow passing over her in a sense that enlightens her.
Yeah. I think that's
shows
figurative.
But it may be too figurative, yes.
And then we have the other one from her, which is an interesting one, because for those who have read the earlier versions of this, and one was published, part of the A Feast for Crows preview booklet, there's a small change. Soon comes the pale mare, and after her the others, Kraken and Dark Flame, Lion and Griffin, the Sun's Son, and the Mummer's Dragon. Trust none of them, remember the Undying, beware the perfumed Seneschal. Now, in the original version of this...
it was Crow and Kraken.
Crow and Kraken, which was an interesting one. Obviously, just wanted to change. Now, some of these seem very obvious. Kraken, Victorian.
Yeah.
Dark Flame.
Mokoro.
Mokoro is the Red Priest, who the Ironborns are calling the Black Flame.
Because he's black and...
Now, obviously, this is what I think some fans are supposed to read. Oh, a Black Fire.
Yeah.
Lion and Griffin, Tyrion and John Connington.
Yeah.
The Sun's Son, that would be Quentin.
Yeah.
Quentin Martell, and the Mummer's Dragon, and we've discussed this one in the Aegon video. We believe this is Aegon. He is not the real dragon. Even if you believe he is actual Targaryen, he's
Varys' dragon, so he's still the Mummer's Dragon. And the Perfumed Seneschal also...
That's a complex one.
A complex one, because the ship translates...
The Selasori Quran, basically, the Stinky Steward is or Perfumed Seneschal.
Yes.
But I don't know about that one. I think that's a warning about Resnack. But maybe we'll discuss something about the Harpy later. But now, of course, she's wrong in the sense that the Lion or rather the Griffin and the Mummer's Dragon aren't going to Dany, or they don't go over. They go the other direction.
Yeah.
That is because
Tyrion intervenes and decides to persuade them that they should be heading to Westeros and start conquering that already instead of just going to Dany empty-handed.
Yeah, it's really interesting that I think a lot of people don't really think about this fact that he has sort of subverted prophecy. He is...
Well, you can argue she sees them coming. She doesn't necessarily see them arriving.
That's true. She makes the assumption that they are coming.
Because they're on their way, they're going to arrive. Prophecy is clearly one of those.
That's part of the reason I don't think the Perfumed Seneschal has anything to do with the ship, because she sees Mokoro and she sees... Tyrion and the ship. I mean, the ship sinks. I don't know if there's anything there. I think it's Resnack. Obviously George does it on purpose to confuse the issue.
Yeah.
Red herrings are a big thing. If you haven't noticed,
and prophecies are not to be trusted.
No, they are not to be trusted.
I think that they always come true in some fashion, but it can be a completely unexpected fashion.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she's dealt with it. As I think it's Melisandre says, prophecy are of things that may be, and not necessarily things that are. They're a guide to what. Now I know you think that's her misinterpreting.
Yes, I think that's partly just covering as well, for as a very good magician wants to. But I think that a lot of it has to do with the fact that interpretations are fallible.
Yeah.
It's very much that sort of game.
Yeah. We have one more prophecy. We'll just pause here. We're going to go into a new video because it's getting a little long.